Alright, hey guys, and welcome back to another video. And today I'm going to talk about the PlayStation 4. Yes, it is finally here, the next generation of consoles. Happened about 3 days ago. It came out on Friday, today's Sunday. I had a couple of days to spend with the PlayStation 4, and I figured I'd share some of my first impressions with you guys. So, first I just want to say it was a pretty uneventful launch. I didn't go out and wait on any lines. Like I mentioned in my previous video, it just showed up in the mail from Amazon. So, very convenient, not too much fun. Hooked it up, and the first game that I decided to try, well, actually first I played around with the user interface a bit. I kind of explored to see how they had things laid out, and I have to say it's so much better than the PlayStation 3. It sort of has that similar, other thing I should mention first of all, I would show you guys, however, as of right now, the PlayStation 4 does not support video capture devices that use HDMI. They're going to be patching it in a future patch, so unfortunately I can't really capture anything from the PS4 as of yet. Until they patch it. And I'm not going to illegally go through an HDMI splitter or anything like that. So there's plenty of videos out there though you guys can check out so you kind of have an idea of what I'm talking about. But the user interface is very similar to the PlayStation 3, but it's a lot more streamlined. It's a lot more clean. It uses a lot of pictures instead of icons like on the PlayStation 3. It was sort of like cumbersome, and there was just a lot of stuff to fumble through on the PS3. The PS4, a lot of nice big images. Every game that you download gets its own huge image like right on the dashboard as soon as you turn it on. PlayStation Store is a lot more clean. It's a lot easier to navigate. Big, huge pictures of the games. Like, it's laid out in all these different categories. Like, you can sort from day one digital games, PS4 only games, PS3 to PS4 games that you can transfer over, PSN games only. Like, it's really categorized quite nicely, and it's really easy to find certain games that you're looking for. Or say the PS Plus page is, shows you every deal that you get for PlayStation Plus, which I of course have because my launch bundle came with 1 year, and you're sort of forced to buy PlayStation Plus if you want to play online anyway. But I have to say I've been pretty pleasantly surprised with it so far, because the two games you get for free are Resogun and Contrast. Resogun was actually the first PlayStation 4 game I decided to boot up and try, and it's a game that shows off, the power of what the PlayStation 4 can do that would have never been possible on the PlayStation 3 or the Xbox 360. Resogun is a Defender-esque arcade-style game where you go left and right. Obviously, you play as a ship, you go left and right, but instead of just like one static screen, you go around in 360 degrees. But what really makes this game stand out are the particle effects. Like, when you blow stuff up, there can be literally thousands and thousands of particles and stuff like breaking apart on screen all at once. When you finish a stage, I couldn't even tell you like what this looks like. There's just nothing but particles on the entire screen, no slowdown whatsoever the entire time you're playing this game. It looks amazing. Of course, you get that for free with PlayStation Plus. After that, and I have to say, it might be, a lot of people are saying like, oh, it's the best game on PS4 right now. I could see why they think that. Not that the other games are bad, but it's a really solid exclusive for the PS4. For those of you that are into like Geometry Wars or Super Stardust HD, those kind of games, you'll really probably like Resogun. So after Resogun, I jumped into Knack. Knack, many people know, is basically one of the only PS4 exclusives. That and Killzone, and Resogun really, are the only exclusive, like only on PS4 games for the launch of the system. And Knack, I have to say, it's been getting some pretty mediocre to poor reviews. And I can see why the critics and game reviewers would give it such low scores, like 5 out of 10, stuff like that. It's because the game itself is not that groundbreaking. It's very simplistic. It's an action platformer. It's not really a platformer because you really don't do much jumping in this game at all. But the action and the gameplay itself is very simplistic. You're just attacking, going from one area to the next. It's very linear. But what makes this game really stand out for me, and what makes it so special, is if I were playing Knack a year from now, after I had been exposed to the PlayStation 4's graphical capabilities, Knack would be nothing special at all. Most people would probably play an hour or two and be like, all right, this is way too repetitive. But what really makes Knack special right now in this moment is that it's a launch title for the PlayStation 4. And for launch game standards, this game does what it's supposed to do. It really wowed me. It really impressed me. The graphics in Knack are drop-dead amazing. It makes me say to myself, okay, now I understand what the next generation is going to be like. And it makes me hopeful for the future, because like there's times in this game where like I'll be in an outdoor environment in the forest or something, and just the environments look so freaking amazing. I can't like think what the future will be like for the PlayStation 4 or the Xbox One in terms of like RPGs or adventure games that are set in a similar setting but with better gameplay. So to sum it up, Knack is a very basic game. It is fun, it is enjoyable. I am having fun playing through it. It's not just the graphics that really, that I'm enjoying, but later on, once people get used to what the PlayStation 4 is capable of, they'll realize just how much of a tech demo Knack was and a precursor for what is to come in the future. So in other words, buy Knack and enjoy it for what it is, but really you're going to get the most enjoyment out of the game from the graphics and from, the aspects of being able to think into the future as to what games might look like that, use a graphic engine like Knack, but a totally different game. I'm about, I don't know, halfway through Knack. I'm maybe like 5 or 6 hours in, I'm not really sure. I do plan on finishing that soon. And another thing I want to say about Knack, the cutscenes in this game, just to put it into perspective, the cutscenes look like pre-rendered graphics from a PS3 game, but it's in real time. So keep that in mind when you see Knack and when you watch gameplay. The cutscenes where there's characters talking and story elements and everything like that, it's not like CG animation, it's real-time graphics. So pretty impressive stuff. Next, I jumped into Killzone Shadow Fall, and wow, another game where I started on the single player and like I was just like standing there in the room that you start in, just like looking around, being like, wow, this is really, really impressive. You get outside of the building that you start in and it's raining out, and like you can see the individual rain hitting the glass or like the ground, and just the lighting effects, like everything in this game really also screams next generation, and it makes me really hopeful for what games will look like in the future. Of course it is a very standard first-person shooter. I knew that going into it, and I've really been falling out of love with first-person shooters lately. I'm hoping that Titanfall on Xbox One will sort of bring me back in to the genre. But for what Killzone is, a basic first-person shooter, it looks amazing. I have to say the multiplayer portion of it, I do prefer Killzone 3 and 2 to some extent more so than Shadowfall. I don't know, I just felt like Killzone 3 on the PS3, like just the stuff you can use, like the mech suits and the jetpacks and everything was a bit more fun than what's available in Shadowfall. But, the multiplayer is pretty standard. There's basically, I think, like 10 maps. They all look really good compared to the single player. They hold up. It's not like they really downgraded the graphics too much, if at all. No lag problems really at all. And that's true for basically all the games I've played online so far. There's no latency issues, or anything like that. But, it's a standard first-person shooter that, the only reason why I'm enjoying playing it right now is because of the next-generation graphics. The next game that I decided to try is one of the free-to-play games. So the PlayStation 4 is home to, or it's in the future probably going to be home to, many PC ports of free-to-play games. And one of those games is Warframe. This is a free-to-play title that everybody can download on PlayStation 4, and PlayStation Plus members get a little bit of added benefit in terms of like money that you can spend in game and everything. But this is a third-person action ninja game that the best way I can sum it up is think like a horde mode from like Gears of War or something like that, paired with a 4-player co-op of like a Phantasy Star Online game, but super fast-paced, super over-the-top, tons of loot grinding and everything. Like there's just so much stuff to grind in this game. I actually really enjoy it. This is the first free-to-play game that I've ever enjoyed. I'm having a lot of fun with it. I'm like 5 or 6 hours into it right now. And basically he plays these different like warframes, they call them. Think of them as like cyborg ninjas. There's many different classes. Some of them are like healers, some of them are sort of like a tank class, crowd control, pure damage, and you play 4-player co-op. You go through these randomly generated levels throughout the galaxy, and you kill enemies, you get drops to improve your warframes, you get different mods to equip on them, different weapons that you can skill up. It's just a lot of customization and leveling up to do. The free-to-play element comes in when if you want to either grind and purchase different warframes with real money, you can, or you can go the long route and sort of find the materials, craft it all yourself, and save a lot of money, because the in-game items in this game are a lot of money. Like one extra character to play as would cost you something like $20 to $25, so not doing that anytime soon for sure. But I'm really enjoying the game. I'm sure once I'm able to capture some footage of Warframe, I'll do a proper video to kind of introduce it to more of you, because I am really enjoying this game, especially the art style is really, it really captured me. It's sort of like a really alien-esque, like Hellraiser, like Pan's Labyrinth kind of character designs. Like it's, or no, that's it. The Digital Devil Saga games on the PlayStation 2. If any of you played that, the designs of the characters that you play in that game for the monsters that you transform into is exactly what this game reminds me of. So if you're into that kind of art style, check out Warframe. And lastly, today I really felt like playing Flower on PlayStation 4. And I'm like, I'll just boot it up to see how it looks compared to the PS3 version. Well, I planned on playing for 5 minutes. I ended up beating the game. You know, it's not a long game, but it really drew me in again. I'm really glad that I have not played Flower in so long because the PS4 version looks amazing. Like, if you watch video online of Flower on the PS4, you can't tell the difference. But when you actually play it on an HD TV, 60 frames per second, you can see, or I could at least notice, there's new like shadow effects and like lighting effects, and it just looks so much better. And probably the best improvement of all is the 6-axis in the PlayStation 4 controller is a lot better than the PlayStation 3, so it makes it a lot easier to play. I mean, so far, I've only had a couple of days with the PlayStation 4, so I can't go too in depth. But you know, everything from like just switching between a game and checking messages and everything, it's really easy to use and very convenient. And I'm pretty happy with it so far. The biggest problem is going to be there's no new games coming out for it until next year, like March, February. So hopefully these games that I have now can hold me over for a bit, or until the Xbox One comes out in a few days. So guys, I'm really excited for the next generation. I hope to get up some PS4 videos, like some actual reviews of games once they patch in the ability to record gameplay footage. And anyway, if you have, you know, any comments that you want to say about the PlayStation 4, what you think, leave them down below. And thanks for watching, guys. Oh, and don't forget to check my Facebook, because now that the PS4 has built-in streaming, which actually works really well, I am live streaming games from my PlayStation 4 quite frequently, so be sure to check my Facebook. Or if you're on the PlayStation 4, feel free to pop in and watch me play a game. Maybe I'll do a separate video on that in the future about the whole live streaming thing on the PlayStation 4. It's really easy. I'll just say that. It's really easy. Any of you that ever want to live stream a game, they make it so easy. Sign up for a Twitch account, hit broadcast, there you go. It's live streaming on Twitch. So anyway, guys, don't want this video to go on for too long. Thanks for watching, and PlayStation 4. What more can I say? It's good. I like it.